is one very powerful thing in RPGs, Tainted Grail not being the exception, is the usage of magic. But usually we need some flavor to it. What's best than just a regular overall mage? Well, the battle mage. That's ideal, that's actually fun, it's spicy, it's always amazing. It is very powerful and it gives you the amazing swords that you will be using, the flashy swords that you will be using alongside with the magic. Remember that there's timestamps on the video description so that you can jump to whichever section of the video you want to watch first if you're not interested in a particular subject. The amazing thing about this build is that you're not only going to be powerful, but you're going to be self-sustainable, because the spell that we're using right in here, more often than not, is going to be for healing. So you're going to be healing at the same time that you're dealing damage, and that's going to be the focus. We're going to build a warrior side of everything so that we can be casting the spell. Remember that at the same time that you're casting the spell that you can see on screen right now, you can be spamming your weapons. You're also going to need mana regen. We'll cover all of that so that you are self-sustainable since the first region of the game. And then there's also going to be one very good spell that is going to make your magic side of offensive side of things very powerful as well. So that being said, first and foremost, we actually need our weapon. My advice is that you also level up quite a little bit, because the people that you're going to be fighting come here at least at level 10. Like, explore a little bit. One of the best things that you can be doing is, like, for example, be doing shrines. Remember that they give you power spikes on a whole bunch of things, like the Shrine of the Wolf, the Stack Father shrines. All of the shrines are going to contribute to your experience. You're going to level up. So my advice is that you level up to level 10, get a couple of gear, that then you can come right in here into the Blood Lake. Now in the Blood Lake you can swim down here, and when you're swimming, this is where you're going to find the location. So we're up here, you need to be facing this way, down here, and this is the entrance to the Blood Lake. The NPC that is going to be guarding this place is going to actually have the first part of our build, and that is going to be the chest piece. For the chest piece, we're actually using the chest plate of the last man. This is going to increase our melee damage by 3%, which is really not too shabby. It's actually kind of amazing. It's going to be guarded by the NPC that is going to be guarding this locked door. Remember that it's somewhat difficult, so better level up before you actually come in here. After you have taken care of that guy, you're going to move forward through here. It's going to be somewhat hidden, but if you go down here through the tree, this is going to yield you access to a secret area in this dungeon that is going to be this. Now, before you can proceed into the actual boss fight that is going to give you the weapon that we're using right in here, you have to go through that maze. There, where you can see my marker, that's going to be the NPC that is going to give you access to this actual location from here. Here, there is going to be another boss fight. The boss fight is not really that difficult, and it's going to be the one that is going to give you the Cursed Blood Blade. This is going to increase the lifesteal that you deal by 2%, and this is a reward from killing the boss. Not only that, you're also going to be needing the life stealing spell that we're using to pair that up with the overall build that we have right in here. So you're going to go up here, and then after you have managed to reach the top, somewhat hidden right in here on a chest, is going to be the next thing that we're going to need, which is the life transfusion. At this point, remember that this is way better than the other one that we have right in here. Let me see, we have blood transfusion, which is going to deal sustained damage 3 to 4, and also it's going to have the on the channel version, the heavy version of the overall everything is going to give you 2 points of health for 3.3 mana cost. So this is an enhanced version of that. This deals more damage, and it heals you more, but it requires more spirituality. So this is how you're overall going to be looking like. There's going to be one more thing, because this is going to drain your mana like a maniac. And your mana, at the end of the day, is going to be your lifeblood. So we need a way to be able to sustain it, which is what we're going to be doing now. So if you go a little bit north, you follow all of this path right here, and there's going to be a bridge right in here. This is the Old Mother's Shrine. There's a little side quest involved in here, but that doesn't interest us that much right now, because what we really want for it is this, the Priestess Cape, which you're going to find just right in here into this corpse. This is also going to give you somewhat of an insight about that side quest. But we actually just want that thing because this is going to give us 1% of max mana per second, meaning that you're going to retain all of your 100% mana regen really soon. So you can ideally really be spamming this, and this is going to be draining like a maniac, as you can see right in here. But our mana regenerates fast, and I mean fast, really fast, so we can just be avoiding damage and then casting this, attacking, and then whenever we receive damage we can just be moving around to regen more mana. Now, one more thing before we actually move into the stats and the skill points and so on and so forth, there's one amazing thing, which is the Battle Mage armor set that you can find on this location if you go right in here west from when you find the cape. And that's a location where it's going to be useful for mainly a full-on mage. We're going to be using that armor set on a different build. That's going to give you more damage regen and spell damage. The reason why we won't be using it with our spell blade right in here is because we want to have points into strength to have melee damage with our weapon as well. While we're channeling our mana, we want to be able to swing and be dealing lots of damage. The armor set that you can find inside here is going to give you, it requires 11 spirituality for you to be able to use it, so that's more for a full-on battle mage. That said, my advice is that you actually just use the chestplate of the last man, the helmet of the last man, and the Priestess Cape, and that's it. That's basically what you need for this build to work. As the rest of everything, I'm using the Knight's armor because it gives you max stamina, which is very useful for melee damage, so on and so forth. And then, yeah. So the stat points. Right now, I'm level 21. This is the ideal level that you are going to have whenever you finish the first region of the game. So as you level up, this is going to be the requirements. The first thing that you are going to need is to raise your strength, endurance, and dexterity to meet the requirements, and the spirituality to meet the requirements of your desired weapons. This is going to be at level 10, when I told you that you should be fighting those bosses to acquire this gear. The sword needs 3 into dexterity. The spell needs 5 into endurance. And then the spell also needs 5 points into spirituality, and then the sword also requires 4 or 5 points into dexterity. So this is how you should be looking like, and this is what you're going to be at level 10. And that's because remember that the first levels always give you like 3 stat points and 2 stat points, and then it goes back to 1. So at level 10, when you're leveling up, before you actually start acquiring this gear, this is how you should be looking like. And then moving forward from this point, you're going to be raising your strength and spirituality evenly right in here to increase your damage from your melee damage and your spell damage as well. For the skill tree, we actually want to maximize and potentialize our damage, our whole overall damage, as much as we can possibly do. So we're going to be placing 3 points into one-handed right in here, and that's everything. And then general gives you melee damage by 25%, so we want that. Then we're going to be moving over to spirituality, and we're going to be going into combat and increase our points right in here to increase our spell damage. But not only that, it's also very important that we spend points into mana battery, because this is going to increase your overall mana. And also, it's a little bit of a extra little something. Your health is increased by 10% of your maximum mana. This is very useful as well. So this is my advice on how your stats and your skill points should be looking like. Now, that being said, there's a final spell that I recommend for you to use as means of dealing distance damage whenever you do not want to get up close to the enemy. It's a spell that you will find right in here. There's a dungeon. If you come, this is the overall layout of the map. If you come right in here, there's a specific dungeon in here. The spell that you want is inside of this dungeon. And it's a difficult boss, so my advice is that you also do a little bit of exploration before you actually come in here. Prepare yourself with the build properly before you actually come in here, but remember that this is very self-sustainable, so as soon as you have the build set up, you can come in here, and this is going to be the spell that you're going to have. So you have distance damage, and because of this distance damage, everything is just going to be so monstrously overpowered, because you not only have distance, you have melee, and when you receive damage, you can channel your blood spell to heal yourself while you're dealing melee damage. You can also channel the healing damage spell with the actual spell, but that's going to consume lots of mana. So my advice is that you actually have them on quick slots from one to the other, so you can be changing them from one to the other, of course, but not use them together. However, your mana sustainability, because of the cloak that you have right here, it's just going to be tremendously amazing. If you like the content, you like it, super appreciated. And also you that you're a gorgeous, beautiful person. You are into the gorgeous and beautiful person. Subscribe to the channel. You're on Discord. Have a beautiful thing. Goodbye.